no matter how expected you are to win or how confident you are in your head. Like, a loss is a loss, and as long as you take it seriously and learn from it, there's nothing you can ask past that.
For us, it's not really like, oh, we've lost, it's a letdown and we're crushed. It's more like, no matter what, let's play our best next game and just go through it each game at a time.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here in Las Vegas. We are going to be going on to our final match. And I got to say, we could not ask for a more exciting match to end today's games.
Well, this match, guys, is, of course, Tempo Storm going up against Cloud9, two of the big favorites of the tournament.
You know, just about every finals of the tournaments here in North America are between these two teams, but to have them facing off here to try to qualify for the next phase of this tournament, the championship bracket, it couldn't be a better story.
Well, let's sum up what we've seen so far today, because we've had some fantastic games. But Artosis, out of what happened today, what was your most favorite series?
Oh, it's hard to say, but I really enjoyed watching Complexity bring a whole nother level of play. Even though that was a one-sided match, I felt like they were just so on top of everything.
And Jake, how about you?
Yeah, I have to go back to the Cognitive game. Cognitive versus Relics was just so back and forth. The ham of Glaurung was something else, and we just saw him bring the pain with Illidan that whole series.
Well, let's not forget we have a huge prize pool here. And of course, not just that, but they're also competing for the fact to be the final two teams. It's going to be at BlizzCon.
That's right. BlizzCon, of course, going to have a gigantic prize. Over $1 million on the line overall this season for Heroes of the Storm.
It's crazy to see how far esports has come. I mean, I remember when I was competing back when I was younger over a mouse pad or something. But now here we are, and it's absolutely fantastic to see just how much esports has grown.
Indeed, it has been. Of course, we're already done the open tournaments. We are in the middle of the Americas Championships, and I hope that all of you guys do join us for BlizzCon in just a couple months.
Although this is the Americas World Championship, we do have a very large representation from all over the world: Southeast Asia, Latin America, as well as Australia and New Zealand.
And all of this builds up for the World Championship. We're going to have one team from Korea, two from Europe, two teams that will advance to this weekend, and then two teams from China, and one final team from Taiwan.
Well, taking a look at our brackets and how they've gone down so far, we do see that, you know, unfortunately, Immunity, they had a tough day, had some good games against those Murloc geniuses, but they're awaiting the loser of this winter bracket match between Tempo Storm and Cloud9.
And yeah, but that means the team that wins this matchup will advance past here. And looking in the other group, we got Cog and Complexity that will be playing after this match, and the loser of that will fall to face Relics, who was just victorious over Furious Gaming.
We're getting further and further along in this tournament, and by tomorrow night, we are going to be crowning a champion. So let's go ahead and talk for a second just about the two teams here and predictions. Who do you think takes this, Jake?
It's so hard to say. Now, just rewinding a few weeks, we had the ESL Finals. And in that event, Tempo Storm won the winner's bracket, and then in the Grand Finals, they were up 2-0. But Cloud9 turned it around and won 6 games straight over Tempo Storm. If that isn't a statement, I don't know what is. And that is the last time these two teams have faced off.
What about you, Artosis? How are you feeling?
You know, I got to look at this and say a lot of people were talking to me about how Tempo Storm, you know, maybe they're a little bit off. I've heard the word complacent at least 15 times this weekend. But I'm going to go ahead and say Tempo Storm. These guys have just been rocking it since they formed up as a team. And I do not see them stopping until somewhere near the finals of BlizzCon.
So excited to get this started. Let's go ahead and throw to the main stage with Anna and Shobra.
Guys, this is inarguably the hottest rivalry of the Heroes of the Storm Americas Championship. And I am thrilled to introduce first the blue team. You have cheered them on so far today, and they have yet to lose. Can you feel the rhythm in this weather pattern? It's Tempo Storm!
And their opponents. Now, we heard the commentators talk about how they made a statement, but hey, that statement doesn't matter if they can't win this weekend. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me Cloud9. All right, the stage is set. The matchup that we've seen countless times, but we're starting to see some different patterns here. Anna, do you think I want to ask for predictions, but do you think the story's going to continue as it usually has?
I don't think there's any chance that this match is not just the hottest thing that we could hope to watch. I'm going to be sitting backstage, probably not sitting, probably standing, probably screaming. There's already been a lot of that going on back there, and I think a lot out here. Am I right?
That's what I like to hear. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get ready for the draft phase. And of course, to carry us through this, we're going to go right back to our world-class commentators.
Thanks so much, guys. We are so close to getting this started. Let's talk a little bit more about the two teams here. Who are the MVPs that we want to look for these two teams?
Well, there's two big guys that stand out on the side of Tempo Storm. They're all incredible, but DunkTrain, arguably Dreadnaught, arguably the best support player in the world, and then they have Zuna. Now, Zuna, it's all about high risk, high reward. He's very much in your face. He actually, it's almost like he gets bored. He needs to be killing something at all times, and that's exactly what he does.
This is so cool. You know, it's a stage that is so huge. Here's the Storm is still pretty new as an esport, and with this amount of people down here, you gotta think the pressure is really on for these two teams.
Oh, absolutely. Like, whoever wins here has such a great shot of going on to BlizzCon. They're going to go up into that winner's match already. No one wants to play extra matches to qualify for BlizzCon. You want to get through there right away.
Let's go and take a look at the Tempo Storm team profile. Again, all these guys, fantastic players.
Look
and they've been considered.
At that match. I mean, for the results, 43-1.
It's so insane.
Oh, man.
I mean, how often does that ever happen in anything competitive? I mean, 43-1, it's nearly perfect, man. And I don't know if they're going to be stopped here now.
It's going to be tough here for Cloud9, but like I mentioned earlier, Cloud9 is the one team that recently just brought the pain to Tempo. They won 6 games in a row in a tournament, and mentally that has a big impact on their opponents, right? If you suddenly think you're unbeatable, and then you lose 6 games in a row, you can't find that one final win to end the tournament.
Well, one thing that's important to keep in mind is the captain has an important role of keeping the team focused, working together, and playing at the optimum level. Let's take a look at Tempo Storm's team captain, Dreadnaught, and see how he makes it all come together.
I definitely think my background in sports has influence on my position in gaming, let alone with this team, just my drive for competition as a whole.
He's the kind of person where when something's off or when we need to figure something out, he makes sure we actually come up with an answer to it.
I was taught a lot in baseball, was my main sport, a lot about how you're part of something bigger than you. The most important thing for me, it's very important to understand your rotational advantage and disadvantages, and if you call inappropriately to siege on one half of the map while they're on another, and if they can out-siege you, which is common in this kind of meta right now, that's most important for me to make sure that my rotations and moments to siege are 100%.
Whenever there's something going on with the team and there's inner conflicts going on between people, he does a good job of just taking people aside and trying to work out the differences. He's been able to work through those kinds of conflicts with the team, and that's really helped.
Sometimes you don't matter, it's what the group needs, and so putting that before yourself is something that's hard to do, but if everyone can put their ego aside, you will be better than everyone else around you.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic captain. But of course, that's not our only team. We also have Cloud9. Why don't we talk a little bit about them, Jake?
Cloud9, they're hot, but they're not 42-1. 38-15, the number 2 team in America, considered by most. DunkTrain is quite the pillar of that. He's the shot caller, he's largely the voice, and his support play definitely rivals that of Dreadnaught. But the rest of their composition, everyone would probably say that King Caffeine, the #1 warrior here in America, fan, became so famous from Heroes of the Dorm, showing off his Illidan play, and then of course Keiwan Pro and iDream, all of these guys are rock solid.
And they have been performing so well recently, so really excited to see what they have to say about their captain, DunkTrain.
Let's take a look at that video of DunkTrain now and see what he's all about.
DunkTrain's like a very stable guy. He's kind of like, if we're all goofing off, you know, for a little too long in practice, he's kind of one like, come on guys, let's bring it in. Keeps us really focused on whatever the goal is that we're trying to achieve. So I think that's really important because we can all get a little spastic, I guess.
I think my experience in the genre is really important for my gameplay being polished, but the leadership skills come more from MMO rating side actually. That sort of leadership really does transfer into things like managing teams, that sort of stuff. So all of those skills were really developed during, you know, hardcore MMO raiding.
For us, having a captain isn't that big of a deal. For us, it's more about kind of doing it all together, working as a team.
So excited to get this started. We're getting very close to going into the draft. I would love to see an upset, but when you see a record that's that good, I mean, it's hard to argue with that, right?
It certainly is. Like, it speaks for itself. And winning the Opens, being at the top of basically every tournament that they ever enter, you can't argue with that. Yeah, maybe they've lost a tournament here and there, a few matches in a row, but already today they've shown they still have what it takes.
I honestly have no idea who's the favorite in this matchup, though statistically, sure, Tempo, they look better. But recently, Cloud9 is on absolute fire, diversifying their hero pool, busting out Stitches, Sonya, you name it. They have what it takes to mix things up and throw off their opponents.
Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing what the draft is actually going to end up looking like because, of course, these teams do have different styles. But let's not forget, Jake, we did see Tempo Storm play against what they've been known to use in the past.
All right, guys, well, our draft is actually ready. Let's make some noise and see which heroes are going to be selected and banned as we start this best of 3. Also important to remember is that we really appreciate our sponsors down here, all of them, NVIDIA, Totino's, Gigabyte, all of them. They're absolutely fantastic. So let's get this going, guys. The draft is ready.
All right, let's take a look. The map is going to be Dragonshire, definitely one of my favorite maps.
Dragonshire, it's a really cool map. One of the older maps here in Heroes of the Storm. We have the top shrine and the bottom shrine. You can control them both. Then what you want to do is then go to the dragon statue in the center, go there, acquire and become the Dragon Knight, and then you can push those lanes pretty effectively.
You know, statistically speaking, though, this is by far Tempo Storm's best battleground. They have such a high win rate here, so it's going to be good for them on this start. But we saw the bans go out. It's going to be Kaeyoh and Zeratul, and it is now Cloud9 looking for that first pick here in this draft.
All right, what will that first pick be? It's going to be a Jaina. We've seen a lot of that today so far.
Ever since the changes to Kaeyoh in the most recent patch, Jaina has kind of skyrocketed above Kaeyoh. The Chain Bomb's still quite powerful, but her kit is very strong at both sieging up and just controlling space, let alone the damage that it deals.
All right, well, 2 picks going over here, and Uther Leoric. That is a pretty common set of heroes right there, the best support and possibly the most powerful warrior in the game.
Yeah, Leoric is absolutely fantastic, always able to just ghost away. Very good when it comes to zoning, and Uther, obviously, like we've said, the best support out there, able to stun, so versatile as a healer. You never want to not have this guy on your team.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, with the battle of Dreadnaught versus DunkTrain, because in a lot of ways that's what this is, Uther is quite a big deal. So Tempo having that, they're going to be feeling quite good about it. But Johanna, Jaina, that's quite the start. And they've been playing a lot of Kerrigan lately. I'm curious to see if that's what they want to go for, because rotations on this battleground are quite powerful.
All right, well, what will they get with this Johanna pick here? Of course, they do have one more before we enter that secondary ban phase. And of course, as you were talking about, Kerrigan, a popular hero for Cloud9, could get banned out for Tempo Storm, so maybe that is what they pick up here.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. We're still waiting for that final pick here. They obviously are limited on time. but there is still some, it looks like, deliberation on exactly who they want to take here. And it's going to be Abathur. Cool.
Wow, this is a statement. They're saying we don't actually care what melee assassin we get. They're setting themselves up for a big melee assassin play. Go ahead, ban Kerrigan, but no, Tempo Storm removes Arthas in this situation.
Wow, that's actually really interesting to see. But let's take a quicker look here at Abathur. This guy is one of the weirdest specialists in the game. He's never on the battlefield by himself. He's out there helping his teammates, giving them little hats. If you see someone with a hat on their head, that's actually Abathur helping them out.
You know, one thing that's nice about Abathur is he can just be anywhere at any point in time. So even if, one hero is taken out in a fight and that hero had the Abathur hat on, Abathur can bounce right back and get onto another hero, which can really allow you to control a battle and oftentimes zone out an opposing army.
Yeah, it's a really powerful power to have. But Tempo Storm, well, they're not going to be able to pick Zagara here because Cloud9 opts to ban that hero, saying, we know how strong Kaeyoh is on Zagara, get her out of here.
Absolutely, a fantastic player there on Zagara. But looks like Vala will be picked up by Tempo Storm. Definitely looking to get one of those top ranged assassins on their side.
And she's great for pushing lanes, does so much damage. And a Sonya pick here from Tempo Storm.
All right, rewind, because a few weeks ago, Cloud9 actually busted out Sonya for the first time in a long time and just shredded Tempo. They have not run Sonya in I don't even know how long. It has been months. So for them to pick up Sonya this quickly after just a couple weeks, this is confidence.
Well, you know what? Worldwide, Sonya is going back to the top of the charts in Heroes of the Storm. She has absolute crazy staying potential, and she's been picked a lot to counter Leoric. Well, they already have Leoric, and now they have Sonya. So what are you going to do against Leoric? It's madness.
It's really cool to see Sonya here. Also fantastic in the mercenary camps. Cool to see that Sonya, for a while was sort of out of style, and now she's back in.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far, but it's now time for Cloud9 to pick 2 more heroes. Now, they've got the Abathur and Johanna. Generally, when you see this, you want to pair this with a big melee assassin. On Dragonshire, I expect to see Kerrigan. They have great Kerrigan play on their team. The rotations are honestly just really scary, but they're going for Buechter.
Well, I guess if there's a hero that can solo Leoric or Sonya, it's going to be the Butcher.
Right? He is a warrior slayer. You throw that Butcher's brand onto a target with a lot of health, and it's just all kinds of fresh beat and good heals.
He's fantastic and engaging. Really cool to see the Butcher here. We still got one more pick remaining, although we don't know what that's going to be just yet here. We're still waiting as Cloud9 continues to deliberate.
Well, I think they will be picking up a support here. What support will they grab, though? Uther is already off the table. Could be
Malfurion. I think that's the safest pick, to go ahead and go with a Malfurion pick.
All right.
If you can't get Uther, why not take Malfurion?
Yeah, I mean, Malfurion is so strong, Tranquility, to keep the team alive. The roots for zoning, especially on the bottom shrine. You try to step into that bottom shrine to capture it, the roots can really lock you in place. And especially when you have something like Butcher on your team, that's not something you want to have happen.
All right, one last pick, and it looks like it will be Muradin.
Okay.
Double warrior here. No, triple warrior. They're going Sonya, Muradin, Leoric. This is quite interesting because Tempo Storm's a team that's known for running a triple ranged assassin composition. To be busting out triple warrior right now, they're diversifying their style.
Triple warrior has been on the rise a little bit here, especially in Korea. We've seen that pretty popular over at the OGN.
I know, that's super popular globally, but Tempo specifically, it's very unique for sure.
For them. Yeah.
Well, we did see them picking up double warrior compositions earlier in the day. I'm not surprised that they're switching it up a little bit. They've got to do whatever it takes to be able to make it to BlizzCon. You don't have a year like this and then get lazy for a couple of weeks and right around the time that you're going to actually qualify for the World Championships. And they are showing us that they are ready.
Also, our game is ready, so let's get hype. Let's make some noise. We're going into game number 1. Tempo Storm against Cloud9 on the map Dragonshire.
All right, over here on the left-hand side of Dragonshire, the blue team, Tempo Storm. It is going to be Zuna on Leoric, Soldier on Muradin, Arthelon on Sonya, Kaeyoh on Vala, and Dreadnaught on Uther. And their opponents on the right-hand side of the map in the red, Cloud9 with DunkTrain on Malfurion, King Caffeine, of course, on Johanna, Fan on Abathur, Keiwan Pro on Jaina, and iDream on Butcher.
The gates are now opening. We're going to see exactly where they will rotate to. Pretty common for them to actually move here as a group for a little bit. It looks like they're going to be staying in here for a little bit now, and they're actually blocking their own minions to slow down that wave.
Yeah, that's right. This is something that we've been seeing more and more commonly recently. You slow these minions down a little bit so that the minion wave will meet closer to your wall. Makes you a little bit safer in a way. But it looks like immediately Tempo Storm will clean it up.
And now we have a rotation of 3 down here at the bottom here for Cloud9. And 1 at the top. Abathur now hiding right now. It looks like it should be now a rotation from Tempo Storm coming down here to the bottom, trying to chase back Cloud9.
All right, well, it looks like it is slowing down a little bit here. We'll have to see exactly where these guys want to go as far as lanes go. Right now, the middle controlled by Tempo Storm. In the early game, they generally have control of that area and can roam very easily.
Over the top, it looks like we're going to have Sonya and the Butcher laning over there. Right now, the Butcher and Abathur comboing now. Abathur hat there, trying to drive Sonya back.
Well, you know, Sonya, definitely a good solo laner, can go against just about anyone, but again, Butcher, very tough to sustain against. He can just drain her health so quickly, and it looks like it's time for the Shrines to activate.
So the Shrines are now up. Again, if they control both of those, then they can become the Dragon Knight in the center, as long as you can secure that for enough time. It's not so common to have the Dragon Knight taken right away unless somebody makes a major mistake. A lot more of the early game here is really about soaking up experience in the lanes.
That is certainly the case. Now, right now, we do see Tempo Storm attacking this bottom tower. We do have King Caffeine trying to push him back with that Abathur hat.
Important to note here is that even though both Shrines are under control right now for Cloud9, it's very difficult to get in there and actually take that, because Tempo Storm has 3 in the middle here. Yeah. That's one of the burdens here that we have to face.
Yeah, it's really cool to see like that. And don't forget, Abathur is not like a solid body on the field. His hat can jump all over the place very quickly, but he's not another body to just grab a Shrine with, generally speaking. So it could be hard for Cloud9 to actually secure both Shrines and grab the center Dragon Knight.
And now bottom Shrine is going to the control here of Tempo Storm. Meanwhile, up here at the top center, we see an engage right now. We see the Butcher trying to run back, and he does manage to get back safely over to the turret area where you don't want to over-engage just there.
Some nice body blocking there, though, by Muradin. Sonya dealing lots of damage as well. Some good, solid rotations coming out of Tempo Storm so far to try to control these lanes.
Down here, rather over here in the mid, we see another engagement right now, and a beautiful takedown there. Uther out of the game for the time being, but the Butcher, though, maybe a little bit too far back, trying to run back right now, getting a stun, and it looks like the Butcher does go down. They are trying to run away, and Johanna goes behind the gate. It looks like that's going to be that. A little bit of an exchange there.
Indeed, some really nice moves going down by both sides. These guys are really having a lot of scuffles here in the early game. Now we're going to have to watch and see where will these Shrines go. It looks like Tempo Storm is going to control both momentarily, and they have control of the center.
They actually might be able to get the Dragon right now. It looks like, oh, nice job there by Abathur, just trying to delay that, and another, oh, no, he's going to get it anyways. He actually manages to get over there and come in now. Beautiful play as the Dragon Knight now pushes forward into the mid lane.
Yeah, Tempo Storm really on top of things here, taking advantage of that extra body, grabbing both those Shrines, and getting a very early Dragon considering the team that they're against.
Yeah, very impressive play there. Tempo Storm, though, already, really beginning to pick that lead up, and this is indicative of what we've seen here from Tempo Storm previously.
Well, right now we do have that level 7 being reached by Tempo Storm. They still have the Dragon Knight up for another 20+ seconds. In the meantime, 3 of Tempo Storm up at the top trying to push, but Cloud9 holding on, not taking too much damage yet.
I like the rotating the Dragon down here at the bottom. A lesser team would obviously just run in there and lose the Dragon so quickly, but not Tempo Storm. They're just too good. Now doing damage down at the bottom. The wall in the mid lane here has actually been torn open, making that fort pretty vulnerable.
That's right, but for the time being, it looks like the Dragon Knight is gone, and the game will slow down for a little bit. Tempo Storm continuing to push around a bit, and in fact, towards the top, we do have Sonya and Muradin kind of lurking around near their opponent's side.
And so, the phase where the Dragon has been in the game is basically gone. We're going to come back now with the Shrines in just a little bit here. Over at the top right now, we have once again the Butcher fighting off with Sonya. Muradin now coming in here. Nice dodge there by the Butcher as the Butcher now comes back. Good escape there from Muradin.
All right, well, the Butcher continuing to hold his own in that lane for the time being. Plenty of fresh meat on that guy. But we do see that that bottom siege camp was taken. So we're going to have a nice push by Tempo Storm in this bottom lane. But Cloud9 getting their own siege ogres as well.
Yeah, the Merc camp over here in the upper left is being captured as well, as we're going to have some solid pushing coming through here. Catching the tail end of that just there. And it's going to be up to Cloud9 to try to figure out how to come back from this. The scary thing is that Tempo Storm's almost to level 10. And when they're at level 10, I mean, there's just no way that Cloud9 can really engage. And that means Tempo Storm can really bully Cloud9 back behind their base.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And if those shrines are up during that time, it's going to be very hard for them to actually hold on to any. So we're going to have to see some really crisp rotations coming out of Cloud9 to be able to deny that Dragon Knight. But for the time being, Tempo Storm pushing forward with their Knights. We do have King Caffeine coming out, doing a lot of damage here to the Mercs. And the Butcher trying to help out as well.
As you can see, the wall is close to coming down here now. Not much they can do, though. Again, level 10 to level 9, you have that heroic ability. It's just too difficult to actually get in there and do the damage. And it looks like the fort at high risk of going down. In fact, they're going to go ahead and press beyond that. A nice stun there. As we see Johanna retreating, running right now. New York ghosting in, but then ghosting back. And this fort will 100% go down.
Yeah, it does look like it. We do have the Butcher kind of coming out and poking once again, but Tempo Storm has pushed their opponents back. And as they do finish off this fort, they should be able to grab that top shrine as well.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very nice. They actually are going to have the opportunity pretty soon here to just go down and try to take that bot shrine. Mercenary camps remaining right now, the upper right at Bruiser camp, as well as the bottom mercenary camp. So they may be trying to rotate back to that in a little bit here.
Well, look at this. All these mines slowing down the rotations of Tempo Storm almost to a comedic effect right there. Really good play by the Abathur player here on Cloud9.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. And it looks like, once again, they're going to be pushing over the bridge. You got to be careful on the bridge because, area of effect damage spells can just deal so much damage there. But they are going to try to, and this is pretty gutsy, try to come in here and take this Bruiser camp. And then the response here from Cloud9 is then push in and actually reclaim that area and take the Bruisers for their own.
All right, well, it does look right now we do have a Butcher clone going after Leoric for the time being. A really cool idea here. And gonna deal a lot of damage, push him back while Cloud9 regains this ground on their side of the map.
It's going to be a tough spot here for Cloud9. We do see the top shrine being captured, but as we say that, at the same time, Tempo Storm actually captures bottom shrine, so it's still divided for the time being. No one can get the Dragon Knight.
Well, right now, it looks like the bottom Mercs are being taken out by Sonya and Uther. Tempo Storm doing some great rotating right now, being able to come down, grabbing more Merc camps than their opponents, getting the pressure on those lanes, and hopefully for them, getting another Dragon Knight.
And down here we see Cloud9 still just on the defense, and I got to appreciate that because I think if they pushed out too far, they would end up getting smashed here. At the top lane, we still see Leoric and I believe the Butcher just going back and forth. Now Leoric's actually going to be able to rotate up a little bit further and try to take that shrine. Let's see if the Butcher can try to come in here and deny it.
He's going after Leoric right now, putting a lot of damage on him. Now, of course, especially that Abathur hat, the Butcher will absolutely destroy Leoric, but some nice fancy micro there with Wraithwalk from Zuna to try to deny.
Looks like both, once again, a trade here in the shrines. Although there's been more of a skirmish over there at the top. Looks like Butcher he's not going to reclaim that top shrine. Meanwhile, down here at the bottom lane, continue to be pushed forward down by Jaina. Over here in the center of the Butcher, under a lot of pressure right now. It's the Orcus Vampires out of the way. Nice takedown there.
Some beautiful stuns, really abusing the Butcher where he's weak, unable to latch on and take health off of his opponent. So a great pickoff by Tempo Storm. In the meantime, chasing back King Caffeine, stunning on Mouth right there. But we do have King Caffeine turning around and peeling them off.
Yeah, nicely done. We are going to see, it looks like Uther possibly go down here to the bottom, try to take that shrine. But meanwhile, up here, Leoric has to do a good job of denying any access over here to the top. But some sneakery is going on up here at the very top, because they're actually going to be able to get this shrine back here with Abathur going and taking the top.
That's right, and he gets out of there just in time. A beautiful move there. Wow, I am loving it.
Really impressive stuff. I mean, that is so risky, and so much is on the line here. Crazy stuff.
All right, well, we do have the Butcher rushing in right now on Vol. Does have to back up, taking a lot of damage at the moment, and does go down before Mouth Tranquility can do anything.
And it looks like TS Dread's going to be able to take the Dragon Knight now, and another push. Going to come through here, and it looks like, no way to escape there as the Butcher goes down.
Yeah, that's right, and it looks like both the Butchers are gone from this battle, so we only have 3 heroes really in it at the moment. The Dragon Knight pressing into that center area. Little bit of spreading going on. Looks like Abathur once again maybe getting a little bit cheeky up there, trying to get some experience.
Abathur is, you got to be very careful because obviously the moment that you're spotted, you're basically dead. I'm even surprised that Abathur managed to Hearthstone out of there. Back there in the center, we see the Dragonite continue to push, and a rotation down here to the bottom for Tempo Storm as they're doing a fantastic job of really keeping the pressure on. It looks like they might be able to actually tear down this fort. No, in fact, they're going to be pushed back a little bit, but again, very bruised fort, could be taken out later on at any time.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, you know, the Dragonite keeping Jaina busy there in the middle, and barely caught that one. Leora catching Abathur out and going for the punish.
Well, this is pretty convenient right now for Tempo Storm. They're going to be able to take the top shrine again pretty quickly as the Dragonite now expires and we're not too far away from the shrines then, you know, resetting.
Yeah, it looks like right now they're about to hit level 16, and there it is, up a Talontier against Cloud9, who's only level 13 right now, giving a huge advantage to Tempo Storm.
Now rotating down here, looks like they may be trying to take out the Siege Giants, excuse me, on enemy turf right now, denying Cloud9, who's already in a pretty defensive position from utilizing the mercenary camps in close proximity to them. A great play there by Tempo Storm.
Yeah, they're really utilizing this big lead that they just gained. It's fantastic play by Tempo Storm, really showing, you know, we're always talking about how in the late game they are so strong, and you can see right here why that is.
Now rotating up here to the top. Just going to make sure that these bruisers can push in that upper lane as much as possible. We don't normally see invasions to the opposing base from the bridge, from the top lane, because it's so hard to get in there. And that's why they're now focusing down here into the middle lane.
Well, right now we do have them attacking into this center lane, trying to take down these towers, gaining that huge amount of extra experience. Nice pull in there by King Caffeine, trying to fend them off, but they will lose that entire wall.
Nice job, and never overextending here is Tempo Storm. You can see why these guys have nearly a flawless record. Now coming down here, and just going to go ahead and push in this lane as well. I believe we'll probably see the bottom mercenary camp captured here.
Yeah, it does look like Murden already going down. Dreadnaught, team captain, and support coming down to help out as well. If they can get some of these mercenary camps, in fact, it looks like they're going for all of them. That's going to put a ton of pressure onto Cloud9.
I think that's great. What they're doing is they're pushing in the lanes. They're doing as much damage, whether it's destroying the fort or just doing the damage to the wall outside the keep. Once they sense that they can't do any more, they go back, they take care of all the map objectives, cleaning up all these mercenary camps, as that's going to keep all those lanes pushed in so easily.
Guys, look at the mini-map in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Everything turning blue, every mercenary camp belongs to Tempo Storm, and now the Dragon Shrines are up.
And as we can see here, again, Cloud9, I think this is the moment they might be able to push out. We're getting late enough in the game where the death timer's long enough. If they do get a good team fight and actually succeed there, maybe they can pull something off and start to push back, you know, their position, their opponent's position on the map.
Well, right now we do have a team fight going down. It looks like that one Butcher from Abathur is going to expire. And they are going to back off for the time being, so Tempo Storm controlling the bottom shrine. They have the top shrine, and Sonya's going to the center.
Yeah, there's just no way that they're going to be able to stop this. They are too good on this map. And there's the Dragon Knight again. By the way, at the top, you know, there's still mercenaries pushing up into that lane that has to be taken care of. Just the tail end of it, though, as we see now the Dragon Knight is still continuing to try to crush forward here in the center lane.
Well, Dragonite coming in for a drop kick on the Butcher. Get out of here, he says. It looks like Tempo Storm pushing forward. They want to take down their first keep of the game, but we do have Dream coming back, putting a lot of damage onto that Dragonite. King Caffeine walking through as well.
And it does look like this keep is going to go down. Nicely done. Now, will they rotate out, around, and then go to the bottom? I believe that's what they have in store for us here. Butcher now coming in here trying to engage.
Well, it looks like Tempo Storm going to be able to get out of here just in the nick of time. Arthelon, though, could be in some trouble. Getting a little bit low on that Dragonite, but no, his team rotates down, helping him out. And it looks like they want to kill another wall.
And I think this is fantastic. If they already taken out mid-keep, right? If they take out the bottom keep, there's so much open area where they can go in and push that core.
Well, you know, that is a pretty big deal. But having even one keep down means if we see a team wipe, the game may end. So we're going to have to see Cloud9 play very defensively, very carefully here, and hopefully take some small victories before level 20 is reached by Tempo Storm, because when those Storm talents are up, things are going to get even worse.
I just don't know how on earth Cloud9 could come back from this. I guess all they can really do, for instance here, try to take this mercenary camp, but more importantly, try to stay back and bait Tempo Storm into overextending. If they overextend, then you could possibly do a huge punishment, because at level 19, that's when you can really knock them out of the game for a long time, right? And then they can try to push back in. The only other problem, though, is that Tempo Storm really never lost any bit of their infrastructure. That's a lot of defense to chew your way through if you're Cloud9.
Oh, definitely a fact right there, Tasteless. Even if Cloud9 were to team wipe Tempo Storm right now, they wouldn't be able to finish the game. It's just, there's so much to get through. Some towers, the forts, the keeps. It's pretty crazy how well Tempo Storm has played this game. And now they're level 20. They have those very important Storm talents, and this is just getting harder and harder and harder for Cloud9.
You know, the distance between level 18 to level 20 to level up there, it's a little while right now. So Tempo Storm is sitting very comfortably here. Continuing to just suck up all the map objectives possible and keep the pressure here on Cloud9. Cloud9 just staying in the back, which I think is exactly what they need to do. Don't go out too far. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. Also note that the shrines are going to activate in about 20 seconds here. And with the lanes this pushed in, it's pretty much impossible for Cloud9 to prevent the Dragon Knight from actually being taken.
Well, right now they did attack that keep. Was that an overcommittal? It doesn't look like it. Cloud9 not really able to do too much. They do force them off for the time being, but no real damage done to Tempo Storm here.
Yeah, Tempo Storm smartly backing up, saying to themselves they will have an easier opportunity when both shrines have been acquired. I will say Cloud9, by the way, did a good job keeping the top lane pushed out here. And we see already the top shrine being captured there. And this is a bit of a delay. You know, it's so risky to do that with Abathur, but I like it. I mean, if they make it work, then they can keep the rest of the four-man team down there, continuing to defend.
Yeah, indeed. You know, Fan is really on top of his Abathur play here today. He's seeing where Tempo Storm is at and utilizing the global presence of Abathur every single time he can. It's fantastic.
What's so cool about it, too, is that Abathur is most of the time, you know, especially at this phase of the game, tucked away somewhere in the base, right? Yeah. In your own base. So occasionally, yeah, you can sneak out, and nobody's looking for him then, right? So that's a great way to take that shrine.
Well, right now, more mercenary camps being captured. Leoric takes that top shrine as well. Tempo Storm continuing to do some strong rotations here as they do walk down. 4 of them together. Leoric is alone up on the top, though. Ban once again, man. He is unstoppable.
Pretty crazy we've had that happen twice there. So close. I mean, if he just gets hit once, that's it. He's gone. But really impressive play there. Now, both shrines have been captured, but Tempo Storm is in the middle of the map. And it takes a little bit to actually try to get the Dragon Knight. So all you need to do is poke him like we just saw there from Johanna.
All right, well, looks like Sonya trying to get it. And King Caffeine with the save right there. But will be enough. The Butcher being taken out in a matter of seconds. Malfurion being targeted down quite a bit. K1 Pro actually going to the south. But they are going after DunkTrain.
And now it's 3 heroes to 2. We see retreating back here. Oh, but hold that thought. At the very top, they're going to try to take the shrine at the very top. Is it going to be able to deny the Dragon Knight?
Oh, well, it looks like yes,
yeah, just barely. However, is the core protected, I guess, is the other question we got to ask ourselves here.
Indeed, and Jaina being taken out in a matter of seconds. King Caffeine is back. He denied the Dragon Knight, but can he deny his team's defeat? It is not looking like it. Tempo Storm just targeting down this core. It doesn't look like there's enough damage to stop him.
And it looks like game number 1 is going to go to Tempo Storm as the core goes down. GG!
Wow, what a game. That was an almost perfect game out of Tempo Storm. Time and again, they take all the mercenaries. Time and again, they take the Dragon Knight. Did they even lose any forts?
It was pretty sexy, man. They're pretty much unstoppable. Jake, how are you feeling about that?
That was one of the cleanest games I've seen from Tempo in such a long time. They played safe. They played passively, just waiting, rotating their warriors in the front lane, going back. You get weak, Wraith walk back in. Murder Dwarf toss forward, throw out a stun, save each other. And the triple warrior just looks so crisp on them. I loved every ounce of it. And like you mentioned, they were constantly just rotating around, controlling the mercenary camps and controlling the dragon every single time.
I got to say, though, I think the real MVP of that game back there was Abathur.
Oh, I mean,
that was pretty cool, man. I mean, how many times he actually got up there and then got back out immediately? I mean, you know, that's so
Some
risky.
close calls.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Leoric's swings actually coming in and whoop, he's out just in time. So cool.
Fan really on top of those cooldowns, knows exactly what he's able to do with Abathur. Some great play, but not enough to save his team.
You know, I'd like to take a quick look at one of those moments that I really thought Tempo Storm did a great job just rotating around and playing defensively. We can see here at the bottom portion of the battleground, Cloud9 is really collapsing on Tempo. You see that Sonya is all the way in the top portion of the map, so they're outnumbered 4v5, but they still make sure they grab the shrine here, and this is when Tempo just kind of falls back. But notice Sonya's position here. If we actually just take a quick look, you can see that Sonya, she's down there, and that is totally not visible. There we go. Sonya on the mini-map is in the top portion of the map. But if we continue this replay, you'll notice she never actually comes down. The team just calls, you know what? Stay up there. Grab control of that shrine. We're just going to play really passively by our wall. They use the clone here. They dive forward. Cloud9 trying to secure this damage, trying to find a kill. But Zuna steps forward, gets a lot of healing done with his Dreadnaught. Wraith walks back. And they're just slowly staying alive and forcing Cloud9 back. And Cloud9, during all of this, they're not getting the experience in the top that Sonya got. She took control of that top shrine. Suddenly they have both shrines, and they pick up this Dragonite. This gained Tempo so much more momentum pushing forward through this game. Just excellent play by them.
Yeah, I mean, they were really on top of it. Everyone in their place at the right time. And, you know, again, Jake, we keep talking about this, like Tempo Storm. Are they on their game? Is anyone going to take them down? Who's actually favored? Every game today, they've still looked like the Tempo Storm of old.
The last time I saw them try to run Triple Warrior, I was like, wow, that was awful. And this was some of the cleanest play I've ever seen. So if they've trained, if they've diversified their playstyle this much to the point where they're still a big threat with Triple Assassin, Triple Warrior, maybe Triple Support, I don't even know what else they have for us. They look phenomenal right now.
Yeah, I mean, after that game especially, I do feel like it's hard to imagine this being one that goes to the third game. I mean,
that game
they're
did
so
look,
solid.
It looked super favored for Tempo Storm.
Cloud9 is not out yet, right? They just got a feel for what Tempo has in their pocket, and now they're going to have something to retaliate with. They tried something new. They busted out Buechter. They're not known for that. So they'll probably go back to their guns, stick to what they know, maybe go to Tomb of the Spider Queen, get very aggressive with Kerrigan. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, Tomb of the Spider Queen going to be a lot of fun to cast here. You got to be very careful that it's really easy to get ambushed on that map.
Yeah.
It's a small map. It's a tight map. It's a very unforgiving
Who
map.
knows if that's where they're going to go? I mean, it's definitely something in their cards, but they're good on Sky Temple.
Well,
they're good on a lot of battlegrounds.
I know, and I know that they're actually going to Sky Temple coming up next.
We just got informed.
I'm pretty interested to see, like, what. I don't know exactly who chose this map, so how would Cloud9 go about defeating Tempo Storm on Sky Temple?
Well, this is the battleground where they have their highest win rate. So Tempo Storm, they're known for Dragonshire. Well, Cloud9, they're known for Sky Temple. So if there's a place to beat Tempo, it's definitely here.
All right. Well, this is going to be an excellent match, no doubt about it.
All right, guys. Well, head on over to heroesofthestorm.com/esports to learn more about the competition and all the competitions happening globally. There's a lot of cool information you can find right there.
Yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. This day has been fantastic, by the way. So many good games. Guys, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll be going to game number 2 here, so stay tuned.
Welcome back, friends and fans, to the Heroes of the Storm America's Championship. If you're just joining us, you picked a great time to tune in because, guys, we are just finished with game 1 of the match between Tempo Storm and Cloud9. There is so much to prove here. Both of these teams, Tempo Storm wants to prove they still can't be beaten. Nobody can take their crown away from them, but Cloud9 wants to prove this is the time when they will finally do that.
Exactly. I mean, the last time I spoke with Tempo Storm, I believe their answer was, well, is it really a rivalry if it's this one-sided? Just because we get matched up all the time does not mean it's a rivalry. Well, Cloud9, this is your chance to really just shut that down in front of the whole world as we're here for the Heroes of the Storm America's Championship. Is everyone ready for game number 2? That's what I like to hear. I hope you guys are all ready back at home. Ladies and gentlemen, let's find out what happens on Sky Temple with our commentators back on the desk.
What's up, guys? We're back. We're going to be going into game number 2. It is going to be on Sky Temple. This is a great map, but it's definitely a map where if you have good control of it, you don't even have to push into their base, okay? You can just sit back, you control the temples. We saw how patient Tempo Storm was back there. I think we could definitely see the same thing here again.
Yeah, they're kings of the late game. So if they can get into that late game position where they're just out-rotating, I think that, they can really force some poor engagements into Cloud9. But as you were saying, Jake, this is a map that Cloud9 absolutely excels at.
Yeah, and we were talking about Abathur play in that last game, and this is probably Abathur's best battleground. Fan loves playing Abathur so much. I expect them to go for that here. The power of Mule, the power of the split soak while you're fighting over that temples is so formidable. And I'd love to see that be busted out in this game.
Before we go any further, we would like to thank our sponsors at Gigabyte, NVIDIA, and Totino's Pizza Rolls for their support. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. We're ready to go to the draft. Let's make some noise, guys. We are very close to starting game number 2.
All right, let's see what these guys have in store for us here on Sky Temple. I'm interested, as well as you said, Jake, when we do see Abathur picked or banned at all.
It will be one of the other, for sure, on this battleground, especially just the way Fan played in that game. He helped Cloud9 stay in it for so long.
Well, it looks like Cloud9 getting that first ban and taking out Kaeyoh.
And not a big shocker here. Going to take out Zeratul there as the other ban, eliminating the possibility of Void Prism.
Oh, of course, Zeratul. I mean, guys, I'm sorry that we talk about Zeratul so much, but we actually need to.
It's a pretty serious game changer when he's in the game. I mean, you can really control battles, and especially in a map where you're basically required to have skirmishes outside of, your base area because you are fighting over those temples. I mean, Zeratul makes picking those fights pretty easy.
Ooh, but Cloud9 going to pick up Leoric for that first pick. Once again, giving up the Uther early in the draft. I really would be surprised if Templestorm did not grab Uther right away.
I mean, Uther is always one of these 5 first guys. Zeratul, Leoric, Uther. Seems like Jaina this weekend as well. Characters that we are seeing picked up so quickly.
Okay, well, Templestorm now has a chance to pick 2 heroes for their team. Jaina will be the first pick.
Not a big surprise there. I mean, she deals so much damage and can slow down opposing players so easily. We're still waiting to see what that second pick, though, will be here for Tempo Storm.
That's right. It's going to be Uther, as Jake kind of predicted there. Such a great support. That Divine Shield has been turning battles on their heads all day long.
Yeah, but they let Johanna slip through, right? They pick up a great assassin, a great support as well, but Leoric, Johanna, probably the 2 best warriors in the game, could be quite strong here for Cloud9.
All right, let's take a look if they do pick that up. Oh,
Arthas. Okay. Well, Arthas combos well with Leoric.
Yep.
I mean, able to slow down and one of the best warrior classes in the whole game.
Yeah, a lot of damage can be put out from Arthas, and it looks like Abathur being picked up before that secondary ban phase by Cloud9.
All right, we call the Abathur. Very strong in the late game. If this does go to level 20, frequently you'll see Hive Mind picked up by Abathur, getting the double hat for those 2 bruisers in the front line. But Cloud9 knows the power of Sonya against these 2 bruisers in the front.
Nice.
And they say, just no Sonya today.
And we also see Zagara eliminated, so we're not going to have any thing like Void Prism then that can be used to substitute for that when Zeratul's already been banned.
That's right. They're both gone. Those 2 heroes that can set up battles so well. So now definitely time for us to take a look at what Tempo Storm wants to pick up. Of course, they don't have any warrior yet. Butcher right off the bat.
Okay, this is crazy. We saw Cloud9 play Butcher in game 1. It didn't work out for him. Now, Tempo's going to say, you know what? We're going to show you how Butcher is played. We're going to show you the power of this hero when he's played properly, and they pair him with Murden. This is a great denial because Reverberation does slow down those auto attacks and pairs so nicely with Butcher.
Very well said there, and this is starting to look very interesting once again. I'm loving the way these 2 teams draft against each other.
Now it's just going to be up to Cloud9 to finish out their team. Obviously, we're going to have to see some kind of support in here, and there it is. Rhaegar has been picked, so just 1 more slot remaining here.
And it's Tyrande.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, we've seen her banned a lot throughout today, but I guess with the rest of the heroes already being banned, why not pick her up?
I love this call because Tyrande Butcher is one of the most formidable combos in the game. When you get that Ruthless Onslaught on a target, it's a guaranteed stun. And you throw the Lunar Flare follow-up with Hunter's Mark, you shred through any hero, specifically those warriors in the front line. Leoric, Arthas, they will absolutely just melt when the Hunter's Mark is applied to them.
Well, you know, it's pretty cool to see him pick her up to make sure that the Butcher can't combo with her, but this leaves him, you know, yeah, she's ranged, she can do some damage, but this is 3 melee characters with Abathur and then a Tyrande, so that's kind of interesting to see that they don't really have a lot of ranged damage.
I'm really curious to see what the final pick then is going to be for Tempo Storm, excuse me.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
What are you thinking?
I expect another ranged assassin. They do like to play a lot of Vala. Since Ligara is not an option here, they tend to lean on Vala a lot. Just the power of Strafe. When Kaeyoh saves that for the duration of the battle and then pops it towards the end, does critical damage. But there's other options on the table. Sergeant Hammer not being played a lot in this event. We'll see what they want to go with here.
And a Rainer.
Oh, wow, Rainer. Okay.
I like it. I like it. He does a lot of damage to these frontline warriors.
Yeah, exactly. And having that range is going to be pretty helpful. So we are very close to actually getting this started again. The map is going to be on Sky Temple. Does anybody think this is going to become 1-1?
I love Tempo's composition here. When you throw Giant Killer on Rainer at 13, if you pick up Berserker at 16, he is going to do about a 1/6 of Arthas health each shot. That's how strong it hurts for when you use those buffs. So a full auto attack Rainer style, going to be very, very powerful in this matchup.
You know, I gotta agree. I'm feeling like Tempo Storm has a good shot here with this draft.
And it looks like we're going to be going into game number 2 now with Tempo Storm against Cloud9.
All right, over on the left-hand side, our blue team, Zuna on Butcher, Soldier on Muradin, Arthelon on Jaina, Kaeyoh on Rainer, and Dreadnaught on Uther. Make some noise for Tempo Storm. And their opponents in red on the right, DunkTrain on Rhaegar, King Caffeine on Leoric, Fan on Abathur once again, Keiwan Pro on Tyrande, and iDream on Arthas. Make some noise for Cloud9.
Well, right away we're seeing our players going into the center of the map. Looks like the Watchtower's going to go to Tempo Storm for starts.
Yeah, and you know, no one dying for that Watchtower. I want y'all to pay attention to that. I know I've played with some of you before on this map and you've gone for it. But
it's solo queued with some of these people. So we're seeing the heroes now all split up into their respective lanes and begin to soak up some experience here. Obviously, we want to be very careful and hyper vigilant for when the 2 towers do spawn up here, as that's when we're going to see some more force skirmishes.
Yeah, do we see heroes remain in any of these lanes? You want to soak as much as possible while still getting your towers. So it'll be interesting to see how they want to do that. Sometimes we do see teams try to attack and take on the other.
Speaking of which, coming in there, but that's what I like to see there from Tyrande, using a good job, doing a good job with that stun there, and really preventing the Butcher from being fully utilized.
That's right. Stuns are the Butcher's worst enemy. He needs to be unstunned so he can just continue his attack, heal himself up, and deal that massive critical damage.
And so in 5 seconds, the temples will be activated. Usually we see this as a temple trade, if you will, where one team is just controlling one temple, the other team just goes to the other. It's really when the second phase of this, the second activation period comes, when it's actually just the bottom lane that we see more of an all-on-all brawl.
Well, right now we do see that Tempo Storm having that top shrine and the middle shrine for the time being. Cloud9 kind of getting outplayed for the moment.
Yeah, and as you can see here, there's actually going to be an engagement now in the center shrine area as Leoric is coming in now. And they're actually going to be able to zone them off of that temple for the time being. Nice capture there.
Yes, indeed. Cloud9 definitely does want to get some of these shots. You don't want to give up both the temples. You're going to lose too much experience there. But for the time being, still very, very even.
And we see now Leoric going to go ahead and ghost away for the time being. Rainer now pushing in here, doing a decent amount of damage, and it's going to be a reclaim there. Also, top shrine has been depleted as well. So now we're going to see, again, them rotate back to their respective lanes, continue to soak up that important experience.
That's right. Now, the next thing that we're going to really be watching for is when are these mercenary camps taken. You want to have some mercenaries pushing on the map around the time that the second temple is activated.
Well, we saw that earlier as well, is actually capturing the top bruiser camp. Well, I should say killing off the bruisers there, but not captured until you see the bottom shrine activated, so you can have that whole lane get pushed up if there is a fight at the bottom part of the map.
Yeah, you can really spread your opponents thin by having your bruiser camp attacking at the right time. But we'll see when these two teams want to take those bruiser camps and those siege camps as well. That'll go to that bottom lane where the next temple will be coming up.
And it looks like those bruiser camps are now going to be taken here with the Butcher and Jaina coming up.
All right, this is a little bit early, but again, this could be one of those situations where they just don't cap it for a while.
And let's see what exactly they got in store for us here. They take that, and they're just going to go and capture it immediately. So Tempo Storm now having a push that has to be responded to there by Cloud9.
So Cloud9 should have time to respond to this, but Tempo Storm looks like they have some plans here, pushing over across the map. Oh, and are they going for their opponent's bruiser camp?
That would be pretty gutsy if they did try to do that. They're certainly interested in at least being close to that area for the time being. They may even want to check and just make sure that their opponents aren't taking the bruiser camp of their own, since that would just mean the bruisers would just collide into each other, right? They would eventually become completely neutralized.
Certainly. Well, right now, Cloud9 going to go ahead, clean up this bruiser camp. Right about now is when they need to take out their bruiser camp if they hope to get it before that bottom temple comes up, but they haven't started it yet.
And now it's 10 seconds away from the bottom temple being activated. You can see right now, frantically, Art is going to try to just get this lane started over here with these bruisers that they're going to try to capture of their own. Meanwhile, down here at the bottom, Tempo Storm is actually in pretty good position. It looks like they should be able to just shove their way down to the temple without really being contested.
Yeah, they'll definitely be able to take this temple, at least for the first portion of it. But that top bruiser camp is up for Cloud9, so that'll be pushing against Tempo Storm and could pull them out of position a little bit later on the temple's life duration.
So nicely done there by Tempo Storm. Already with just a little bit of an experience lead, but this can really add up. Don't forget, level 10 is not really that far away, nor is the next temple being activated, since we're almost done with this temple capture.
Well, look at that. The fort going down. These two siege giants adding a lot of damage in as well. Getting a lot of value out of this bottom temple right now is Tempo Storm. But we do have a nice push by Cloud9, both in the middle and especially in the top lane.
And that's one thing you can do. If they're all fighting over that temple, or at least trying to keep that protected down there at the bottom, you definitely have the opportunity to do a push on the opposite end of the map. Right now, the Butcher, Zuna going down. Beautiful play there by Cloud9. Cloud9 continuing to push forward right now. The top fort is very, very bruised. Meanwhile, Art is trying to get away as Jaina does a great job with her Blizzard.
Well, right now we do have yet another hero coming up. Dreadnaught on that support. Uther coming up to try to help out as well. And Tyrande does go down despite the Abathur hat. They will have to back up, and they did not get that fort.
Also important to note is just how far bottom lane has actually been pushed in here by Murray. We see that all the way to the front door of where the keeps are at. He's actually managed to shove in there.
Did he go too far, though? It just hit 10. He throws up his avatar, trying to get out of here right now. And it looks like Arthas will turn around that heroic level 10 just in the nick of time.
Oh man, and this is pretty sneaky right when they're at level 10. And of course, Cloud9 has to be on the defensive. They're gonna go for the boss. If they go for the boss, the bottom lane is already so badly pushed back, they could easily get in there and start damaging the keep, and that would give them a very easy pathway to getting to the core very early on in this game.
Well, it looks like they do get that boss. It is going to be pushing that bottom lane, and they are rotating towards the top right now. So a beautiful move by Tempo Storm, utilizing that really quick level 10.
Now up here at the top, excuse me, no, they're actually, yeah, I guess they just will go into the mid. I don't know, I think New York has to basically go back right now, since there's really no way they can defend everything without having everybody there. And already another keep is destroyed, another rotation to the top of the screener is going to make this very, very easy for Tempo Storm to destroy.
Well, Tempo Storm is going to take out this fort as well. Maybe, it looks like, but the shrine is coming up at the top. So backing up and taking this temple will do the same thing. It will take out that fort.
And so they're backing up now. By the way, Tyrande doing a fantastic job with the owl, just checking everywhere to try to, see where they can telegraph any of the movements here.
Well, it looks like we are taking a lot of damage. Wraith walking out of there, surviving, but the Butcher's coming for him. Looks like we have a beautiful ancestral, and then an amazing walk right there, but still, Caffeine does go down. Dream, in the meantime, taking lots of damage, goes down as well. A wonderful fight right now for Tempo Storm.
Tempo Storm has swung the tide in their favor there. Now, will they go right on top of the fort? Or no, they're actually just going to stay back here and just capture this temple, because that will destroy the fort just as easily. This may, in fact, even bait Cloud9 into coming further in here, in which case I think Tempo Storm would jump on him and crush him.
Well, it looks like right now the Butcher going in once again. Rhaegar falls. Well, we do. You know, it's still not the biggest death timer, so they're coming out pretty quickly, but Tempo Storm is just pushing them back and back and back.
I mean, it's pretty wild, right? I mean, it's level 12 to level 11, but at the same time, we have so much that's been destroyed here for Cloud9. Tempo Storm hasn't gone unscathed, of course, but really the amount of damage that's been dealt out here at this pace with already a boss being captured is really impressive.
Yeah, it truly is. They're up a talent tier at the moment. They've got really complete map control, continuing to take their mercenaries and just rotating fantastically onto these temples, getting that extra damage. And look at this. Now they're attacking that bottom keep.
And this, while doing that, they're just going to take every mercenary camp in sight while guarding that bottom area. And remember, guys, this is not a map where you have to actually physically show up to kill the core. You can just keep capturing these temples, and there's not, I mean, obviously nothing that they can do. If you just have the temples, the core does get damaged. Eventually the core takes too much damage, it goes down, and that's game. So this is really, really tough right now for Cloud9. They really need to pull a rabbit out of their hat.
Indeed, they do. You know, the Mule is doing a good job kind of negating some of these shots. A very good talent take right there for Abathur, but is it going to be enough? Tempo Storm is really running the entire map. We do have a big push in the top lane by Cloud9, but in the meantime, we are having that keep take a lot of damage at the bottom.
And remember, the bottom lane is the same lane that the boss can push through again later, and we should have the boss respawning here shortly. So coming through here is going to be very scary right now for Cloud9. As we see another engagement coming in here now. Cloud9 has to defend.
And it looks like the Divine Shield really helped out the Butcher there. Dealt a lot of damage. But in the meantime, we do have Leoric pushing forward. A beautiful swing there. Now Dream pushing them out. A nice warp toss there by Soldier. Getting out of the way. Kaeyoh, missing a shot.
Yeah, Kaeyoh has to get back there. He's taking some more damage. Looks like Arthas is still on the hunt right now. We see sprint being used. Beautiful there by Tyrande. 3 heroes down currently, and this is exactly what Cloud9 needed to do to come back. Remember, the later we are in the game, the longer it takes them to respawn, so they're going to be able to come in there and still do a lot of damage. However, Jada somehow ninja'd her way back over there and managed to still take out that very critical keep.
Well, it looks like she may not live to tell the tale, but probably worth it to get that keep down and really get the pressure on that bottom lane.
A very worthwhile sacrifice there. And that's not always an easy decision either, right? It's not always about make sure no heroes die. Sometimes it's about just make sure that we have an advantage here.
Yeah.
So
and you can't leave a very damaged keep up because the Mule will bring it back to full health immediately.
So that was a really cool necessary sacrifice that they did back there. Now, because Cloud9 is now the aggressor over here in the center, they will now get the fort area over here in the center, for Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm, their response right now is to try to just get as, oh, no, they're gonna back up. They were gonna get that bruiser camp, but it looks like they were worried about a possible ambush, realizing that they weren't chased through the bush. They decided to then finish the job.
Yeah, that was actually a really smart call to try to back up for a moment. They lost track of Cloud9. They knew they were near, so you know, they played it a little bit safe, but they do have that top bruiser camp able to push out that top lane, and now it might be time to go down and battle for the bottom temple.
As we go forward here, Leoric is in a little bit of trouble. Shrink Ray being used on him, and Leoric is gone within a matter of seconds.
Really nice move. He had already used up that very incredible Wraith Walk skill, so unable to get away right there. Now we do have Zuna down here, capturing this bottom temple for Tempo Storm.
And with so little structures remaining, every temple victory is getting closer and closer to the end here for Cloud9. I mean, a few more temple captures, and that's the nail in the coffin. Now we do see Arthas over here in the front. They are being driven back, zoned out there by the great Hyperion, by Raynor.
Looks like Zuna taking a lot of damage here on Boot. Uther, an absolutely amazing Divine Shield does go down. Take out Leoric now, and it looks like we do have Muradin jumping in, dealing a lot of damage here to Dream. DunkTrain trying to keep his teammates alive, but to no avail.
And a push from this is going to be, I think, potentially close to a game ender, man. I mean, they're doing so much damage to them right now. Getting the boss is the perfect move because that's going to allow them to really get in there and squash their opponents. Do they follow the boss? Do they go for the temples? It's tough to say, but no matter what, getting the boss here is beautiful. The entire bottom lane is completely open, which means that boss has direct access to the core.
Well, it looks like right now they are going ahead and getting getting that siege camp as well. We do have DunkTrain kind of going down towards that bottom lane, going to have to clean out what he can. This is looking worse and worse for Cloud9 at the moment with that boss marching down that bottom lane.
And the bottom lane already being so scary, taking the two, all the siege giant camps down to the bottom means that there's just so much that they have to stop. I mean, this huge flow just headed towards the core. Meanwhile, taking the temples, why not? There's really nothing the opposing team can do really to contest it.
They're even hitting this other keep because they have to kill the boss and they have to save the keep. There's just too much that Cloud9 needs to defend against. Tempo Storm playing like their lives are on the line right now.
Tempo Storm playing just like the perfect games right now. They know when to engage. They know when to be greedy even. For instance, when we saw that first boss capture, they know exactly where to be on the map. And there just doesn't seem to be very much that Cloud9 can do about it.
Well, right now, it does look like they lose their second keep. Giants marching down that bottom lane as well. They've got to watch out for that. Chasing right now on Tempo Storm, but the longer they chase, the more damage these siege giants will do to the core.
I mean, yeah, the core getting lower and lower now, down to about 80% HP before it just barely Cloud9 gets in there and cleans up this mess. The response from Tempo Storm to continue to go around, control the rest of the map. They're getting the watchtowers, they're making sure their lanes are as pushed out as possible. And I guess it's pretty straightforward, Artosis. All they really need to do is wait for the next temples to spawn and capture that and keep chipping away.
And let's not forget, they're a level up right now. It's 19 against 18, and if Tempo Storm gets level 20, they get those Storm talents, that is going to mean disaster for Cloud9. It will be so tough to do anything when they have such a strong talent.
Now Cloud9 trying to come up here. Nice escape there by Murda, and Jaina's gonna have to be careful. She can't be that far out. Jaina now backing up and mounting up as we see very careful rotating coming here from Tempo Storm. They basically have this. They just can't lose a team fight. And here's where we might have a forced team fight, speaking of which. There's 25 seconds now before temples activate. They'll probably go up to the bushes up here, or maybe try to set up some kind of an ambush. In fact, no, they're just gonna rotate up here to the top. And the mercenary camp going to be captured down there. Well, I guess I could say up there in that top lane there for Cloud9.
Well, right now we do see Tempo Storm trying to pop onto maybe both of the temples to start get some of those free shots early on, but it looks like Cloud9 kind of coming in, making a little circle around them. They know that they've got to fight here. They can't lose that last keep. They're almost done already.
And as Cloud9 pushes forward, keep in mind it's now level 19 to level 19. So as far, even though, you know, Cloud9's been taking a beating this game, in a fair fight, Cloud9 can still absolutely win this.
Well, it looks like Cloud9 pushing off Tempo Storm for the time being, but Tempo Storm has the freedom to rotate. They don't really have to fight for these. They have enough buildings left that these lasers don't scare them. So they're going down to this bottom temple, a beautiful move, just trying to get extra damage off on their opponents.
And Cloud9's aware that they really can't allow any temple to be captured. It's a game of cat and mouse right now. Cloud9 still. Looks like, no, they're going to regroup, in fact. I thought they were going to come down, but they actually just changed their minds. They go back up to the top temple, decide to get guaranteed damage off on the opposing player's base there.
Well, you know, Cloud9, sure, they have a few things starting to go on for them. They have Abathur down the bottom. They're killing this top temple right now.
Oh, this is
top keep. That's a great move with the bruisers.
That's a really great move. I love that. But immediately, Tempo Storm, they're going for the jugular. They're going right towards the Nexus. Abathur, they're trying to defend. As you can see, the Nexus is getting lower. Cloud9 trying to come down and prevent the end of this game. But there's too much damage, and that's going to do it. It is GG.
Oh my God, Tempo Storm with a snap decision, running across the map and taking down the core. Cloud9 not being able to do anything about it.
That was some sick stuff, man. Just right there at the end, boom, go for the kill. They were moving around the map, trying to, you know, get into a good position. And right when they saw that Cloud9 was not there, not absolutely in a perfect spot, bam, go right for the heart, end the game.
You know, Tempo Storm used to be called Symbiote Gaming. We used to call that symbioting it because they just rushed in. The moment you look away, they just end the game in an instant. And having that damage potential, I mean, it's a big threat. But I gotta say, Cloud9 drafting 0 assassins did not benefit them at all. They had a cool composition. It definitely looked like it could work. but they never really got those takedowns when they needed them.
You know, it was a little bit weird, but I understand, you know, grab that Tyrande, try to prevent your opponents from getting such a strong composition, but maybe hurting themselves in that process. They just had such a hard time ever engaging onto Tempo Storm.
And when you have a hero like Buechter that dishes out so much damage and can heal himself so much, it's very powerful. Let's actually take a quick look at the replay that I picked out here, where we can see the power of the Buechter and the sustain when the enemy team doesn't really have that much burst. Now you see Buechter charge way forward, a beautiful Ancestral there keeping Dream alive, but it gets super low. This is when the Divine Shield comes in. And look at that, with the Butcher's Brand, just shreds through the enemy team. Way too much damage output. Before you know it, Cloud9 is just getting picked apart. They nearly get Jaina. Oh look, Ice Block. Now the heals come up from Uther the moment that's readily available. They have a lot of utility on their team, but they don't have a lot of damage. And with things like Butcher's Brand, Ice Block, Divine Shield, Tempo Storm was able to sustain through just about everything.
I'm just not sure anybody's going to be able to stop these guys.
I know, man.
I mean, they played so perfectly. And I mean, look, Cloud9 did a really good job, okay? I mean, it was at times a bit one-sided, but they were not making, you know, poor decisions. They were really,
they're a fantastic
holding
team.
their own at a lot of this. Yeah,
absolutely. And they started looking like they could fight back at times. But what is this now? 45-1 for Tempo Storm? That's I don't
crazy.
even know I don't know the percent of that, guys. What is it, like 98%? That's pretty crazy win percentage.
I'm pretty good at math, so I'm just going to say, yes, you're right.
All right, there you go.
There we have it.
I never do any math on live TV. I try to play it safe. But by the way, guys, we're not done yet today. We have Cognitive Gaming coming up here against Complexity. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and throw to the main stage with Chobra.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am here with the winners of Group A. Ladies and gentlemen, another big round of applause for Tempo Storm, please. That's what I like to hear. All right, Dreadnaught. I mean, I'm standing here with you guys. You guys all seem a little bit adrenaline pumped, but how's the day been? I mean, you guys are the winners of Group A. No losses so far in your match.
I mean, it feels good. It was like what we came in, like our mindset was that we were going to do that. We're going to 4-0 today, and it happened. So, I mean, we're feeling pretty good about it.
That's awesome. So, of course, maybe to you guys, maybe it seems like a joke now that every time you guys have to play Cloud9, everyone's like, all right, so what's the storyline in this rivalry? What's going to happen? But you guys, I mean, result-wise, you guys smashed them again. So how's that? How do you view it? Because the last time I spoke with you guys were like, is it really a rivalry? I don't really know.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same situation. They won the majors recently in ESL, and everybody's been really panicking about that. And so, I mean, I guess you could spark it a little bit of a rivalry now, but I mean, again, when we need to turn it up, we do. So, I mean.
That's great to hear. And like you said, when you need to turn it up, because now you've secured your spot in the bracket stage for the semifinals tomorrow, and that's one step closer to BlizzCon. At that point, you just need to win one more match to go to BlizzCon, and then, of course, you can try to win a little bit more prize money and glory here for the Americas Championship. How good are you feeling about that? Do you think it's simple cruising all the way?
I mean, I don't know if I'd say simple cruising. It'll take a little bit of planning strategically, and obviously we got to show up. But as long as we play our game, we definitely feel like we're going to make it to BlizzCon.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, another big round of applause for your winners of Group A, Tempo Storm. And when we come back, we will be taking a look at Group B with Complexity versus Cognitive.